Hey everybody, Cody Menz here, and in this video, doing something a little bit different for holiday ops. Previous years, each community contributor gets 200 boxes, which thank you very much, Wargaming, to open up. Um, everybody probably sick of watching, basically the holiday ops boxes. So figured I'd take a little bit of time, think about the event, and kind of come up with, this is now my third time trying to record this video. Hopefully it'll be a lot shorter. Kind of what's good about the event compared to last year, and also what's not really good, like kind of what were they thinking about the event. So I'm going to try to go through this as fast as possible, so the video is not 30 minutes long, like my last attempt. And, I'd like to hear from you in the comment section as well to see, basically do you agree, disagree, and, if there's something I missed, let me know. So going to start with the good. The good, for the holiday ops this year, compared to last year, the huge issue last year was this credit bonus, the 50%. It was awful. I remember opening about 300 boxes last year and was unable to basically get the 50% credit bonus because you had to craft all these ornaments. It was super RNG dependent, and it took forever, like especially for like a free-to-play player. It was almost impossible. This year, a lot easier to reach the maximum credit potential, and also it's a lot easier to manage this other bonus for experience. It does not work for premium tanks, which I'm perfectly fine with, because, like, let's be honest, I used to hate previous years where you'd have to select specific tanks to get bonuses in. Now it just applies to all tech tree and non-premium tanks, so that to me is a plus. A lot easier to reach them as far as the higher percentages and max out, and also a lot easier to manage on top of that. Another good thing, so the horrible RNG from the crafting the ornaments is gone now. So this is a little bit of good and bad. So now you don't have to craft ornaments and do the collider thingy and the shards. Basically hope that you get a specific ornament to fill in your book and stuff. Now it's a little bit more straightforward, where you just level up 1 to 5 when it comes to the different pieces of your village. Nice that it is not RNG based anymore. However, you do lose like a little bit of that holiday charm, with the amount of ornaments you have. And let's be honest, like, we're all probably addicted to that little pop sound from the shards last year when you would break ornaments. Like, that was really addicting. This year, a little lackluster with, I feel like they lost a little bit of charm with the ornaments, because you just kind of click a button, down here to go 1 to 5 by spending your resources. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not too much to it, to where everything looks nice. It does look all well put together, like the village and everything. But it lost a little bit of, I guess, like the specialness and like leveling up, to where the easiness of it to me is good, but it feels a little bit less important. Like, it's just, like, let's just throw some crap and get it over with. The new shop, like this, UI, where it's definitely compared to like the books and stuff, putting your ornaments in the last several years. This is a lot easier and straightforward, I feel like, for people trying to catch up previous seasons. So that is awesome. Nice change, kind of simplifying things. The other things are not in game, unless you pop into battles. My favorite thing this year is honestly the holiday themed music for each each map, where they did a really good job on that. I honestly prefer a lot of them to, even though the music's good for the intro to maps, already in the game, the holiday theme ones are actually pretty freaking awesome. I think we can almost all agree on that, because, they did a really freaking good job on that. Now, getting to, so something I think good about the boxes. So the largest boxes, I ended up opening about 280 of them, 80 from myself, 200 from Wargaming, where the nice thing this year about them, where still the same format, based off of previous years, you're getting more value compared to just like buying gold throughout the year normally, non-discounted. You're getting it discounted, where the bulk of what you're getting is premium time and gold for the most part. I always tell people, do not try to buy boxes if you're trying to go for a very specific tank or 3D style. It's going to be hard to get them, especially if you don't have all the 3D styles already, because they won't duplicate. But this year, the tanks that they put into the boxes, I feel like are a lot more interesting than the previous year. So like previous year, we had the Tornwagen, Caliban, M4Y, M485, KV1 Shielded, Matilda LVT, and the PZ35 for new tanks. This year, so basically getting into like a quick little look here in a comparison tool for just the new tanks and a couple existing ones for this year's boxes. The BZ176, honestly, the tank is way too good and pretty broken. Different discussion, but the tank is actually very interesting and a lot of people want it. But balance wise, awful for the game. I think the jet booster is stupid, especially because you can't shoot and blow them up. And it's poorly balanced, and honestly it reaffirms, like, I'm not somebody who was calling for them changing matchmaking, but it almost feels like tier 6s and 7s should not see this tank whatsoever. It's that good. Otherwise, so the Iron Arty, really good tank. My problem with this though is, they're kind of shoehorning a tank that should be at tier 9 or 10. For how advanced it is. At tier 8, and just nerfing the gun accuracy and the DPM to compensate, and the HP. So that's my gripe with that, but really good tank compared to previous years. These two tanks, like, you actually want to play these things, and like, they're going to be tanks that people are going to want and continue to play. Char MOE is probably the weakest, even though it is a tier 9. I have fun playing this tank, but the low ammunition count is, pretty hard to get over. Like this tank, for having a 6-shot autoloader, only having 42 rounds, you go through them really freaking fast for a tank that isn't a scout. Where I don't know what they were thinking. Hopefully they give it more ammo in the future, but we can't really confirm that or anything, because who the hell knows what they'll do. But strange. AMBT and Vipera, tanks that honestly, like the AMBT, I was a little surprised the amount of people asking about it, but having got this tank when it first came out, I guess a lot of people have wanted this, to where they did a good job picking these two tanks. But kind of the most interesting thing, so comparing last year, the M4080 or M485, KV1 Shielded, Matilda LVT, PZ35 for the low tier new tanks. The SU2 122 is freaking hilarious and fun to play. It's not too good or bad, but it's really good, when it comes to the fun factor. Captured KV1, people have wanted this forever. When it comes to the German, KV1, basically the German gun and different turret on top. Harry Hopkins, probably one of the most fun tier 4 tanks, you could play. Really high pen, good, good accuracy, fast firing gun with low damage. And then, the M3 Light and the PZ38s they threw in are definitely two tanks that people want that are older, existing tanks. Rounding out the good, for holiday ops, not everyone will think this is good, but I kind of like that they have the auto collection for the resources. For someone who's really busy like myself with work and having a little 2-year-old running around terrorizing you, I can't always log in, even though it only takes a couple minutes. So having that option is definitely nice, that they let you collect stuff instead of forcing you to log in every day, which is their end goal. Getting into the bad, so something I personally hate is the Friends villages. Not that I hate Friends, I feel like it's a massive downgrade compared to the holiday posts that we had last year, where you'd send people presents and you'd basically get presents, where I feel like it completely killed like the community element. You saw people asking in battles, and basically messaging in the forums and stuff, and people working together to send each other things, where now you get to pick two friends out of however many you have, and you get to go to their village and click a button, and that's it. Who cares? It's useless. It's stupid. It had, like, this is all completely useless. Where it's a huge downgrade, especially when you're just going to get, random resources, from their village and clicking a button. It's just kind of there to waste time, I feel like, compared to the holiday post where you'd open essentially small presents and get a bunch of random elements and some nice little things in there. This is just, it's just, to me, lazy, and it doesn't really, even though it might look a little nice, it's just, there's not really anything special to it, I feel like. Probably the most controversial thing is the gift terminal. this is something to where, for us not having the small presents that you had in previous years where you'd open it, you'd get like random ornaments and little, basically bonuses as well, and gifts. This year we have this where you click a button, you only get X amount of tokens, from the event itself, and then you can convert your resources when you have excess resources into tokens to get more rolls. The problem with the gift terminal is honestly the gifts suck. You have an 89% chance to get like small things like med kits, demount kits, stuff like that, which, it's something. But, for not only players, say like myself that have played for 10 plus years, but, just, your general player that isn't a brand new player, this is a huge, again, downgrade compared to previous years where 89% of the time you're going to get some little trinket that isn't, who the hell cares. You have an 11% chance to get a Object 283, a new tier 9 reward tank. It's not a premium tank. They've removed the premium status the day of holiday ops, because the tank's not great, but I don't know why they couldn't have made it a premium tank, especially when you factor in based off of the community, doing some data and statistics and stuff. It seems there was about a 1% drop percentage per token to get a permanent 283. It's awful because some people, Wargaming knew what they were doing, where even though they don't have to post the specific drop rates, as they might remind us, from time to time, it's kind of, it's a bad business practice, I feel like, because this is something where they're releasing a new tier 9 tank to where this is the first time where, say like a tank collector or someone who really loves the game that supported it throughout the years, you could drop $1,000. You will not get this tank most likely based off of the 1% drop percentage, to where you have to convert those large boxes getting the resources into tokens, and it's not a great conversion. Then you have to hope you get it. You might just get rental battles, which are pretty useless because A, you don't own the tank permanently, and then B, you can't do field mods, and you're throwing stuff on for something you don't own. Wargaming could have easily done something where if you get a rental for the 283, why don't you give people the option, if you don't get the tank, by the end of the event, to buy the rental using gold, anything, resources, so on, anything, to where if you get rentals, you basically could buy the tank afterwards, but if you pull it, you get it for free, using tokens. Awesome. It's just, it's a really bad precedent because hopefully the community, everyone continues to voice their opinion, because it's been the #1 topic recently, that it's awful because this is them releasing content for, your veteran players and a lot of you guys who have played for years and, support the game financially. Like, Wargaming knows they have people that want to hand them money, but this is the first time where you might not get this new content, not like, auctions and stuff where you can just bid higher and get something, and kind of make sure that you're overbidding to get something. This is, you have this small little chance to get something, but you can throw us, hundreds of dollars and stuff, but you might not get it, screw you. I hope rental battles go away for these rewards and like special events, because they're awful. The Waffentrager kind of set the, things in motion, but if this is a thing that's going to be coming more and more, if this terminal and a 283, there's a massive problem. Moving on to like resources here. So getting into like resources, I think it's, while I like that the shards are away only because of the RNG element crafting, why do we have 4 different resources? It doesn't feel fleshed out, and it seems kind of like they literally could have done 1 resource and we could have upgraded, your village and stuff using your 1 resource without having 4 separate ones. I get that they're each tied to different boxes, but what's the freaking point that there's 4 different ones? Like, it seems odd outside of having the 4 different boxes and 1 resource per box. It just doesn't feel that well thought out, for an event that runs for as long as it does. Where they could have done something when it comes to like being able to create different tokens or create different boxes to open, like small boxes using resources, anything. It just feels weird and lazy. Not a huge issue, but definitely you know, something that's, it's just when you start looking into it a little bit, like this again, it just lacks depth, you know, it's kind of lazy. um Getting into two things, you know, kind of connected here. You have Chaffee the dog, which again, very weird. So, you know, you're supposed to come into your village every day and pet your dog, and it gives you 50 random resources. Wonderful. Which, you know, my webcam's covering the resources. However, they added these things in where you could spend gold to rent, you know, rent these things, which, although it does say the rent item will be available for now 23 days after this specified period, it'll be removed from your account without compensation. So give us gold, we'll give you nothing. If you read that several times, you'll come to that conclusion, hopefully. I went ahead and, you know, bought some just for the hell of it, to begin the event, just to double check, because it's very strange that, you know, they're kind of, again, putting something into where some people aren't going to read that fine print, which shame on them, but also they've never had something before where you're buying something and you get nothing. You know, it's kind of like the 283 where there's such a low percentage to try to get that for the tokens, where now, okay, these people are probably going to spend, you know, your 2,000 or whatever gold, however it tallies up, and they get nothing out of it. You don't get extra resources from the dog. You don't get like extra tokens. You don't have like a better percent chance or a better percentage chance to get 283. Nothing. It's just, it's very weird. The where, you know, I'm all for them doing cosmetics that don't affect like gameplay and like, you know, your, you know, performance and stuff, but it just feels odd. You know, it just, all these little negative odd things kind of add up. The Redshire cat, I personally hate this thing, the whole premise of this too, because, you know, it's a 10% drop percentage in the large boxes, and really the only purpose of it is to add this in, and then you spend some resources to basically get a style, some decals, and a day of premium time. Whoop-de-frickin' do. I like cats, but I don't give a shit. You can't even frickin' pet it, you know? It's just another, like, weird addition. Last but not least, so Arnold, you know, you have Arnold and Mila as the featured, you know, celebrities, you know, guests, whatever the hell, for this holiday ops. It's very weird. So if you already have Arnold from last year, you can't get a second one, you know, a second commander for Arnold. It's very weird for them to be featuring him as much as, you know, they are. Putting a freaking tank in Iron Arnie, you know, completely themed around him and everything. And then if you played last year and you recruited Arnold into a different tank, or especially a different nation, because you can't retrain him from, say, Germany over to, you know, US, you can't put him in that tank. The where would it really have killed them to allow somebody to get a second Arnold commander? Would it break the game? Would it blow up? Nothing. You know, it wouldn't. You know, the where it's very strange that they are, you know, the main feature of this, the where it might help some people that didn't get him last year or new players, but again, it's kind of, you know, giving like the middle finger to veteran players and people that collect things, to where, no, you don't get a second one, like, screw you. You know, it's another one of those odd decisions to where, you know, a lot of the new stuff this year, outside of getting rid of the RNG, you know, from the crafting, and, you know, the new music, you know, for the maps and the shop, a lot of the newer things are just, I feel like, poorly implemented, to where it's, you know, it's them getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. And, you know, they have a player base, you know, for a game this old, that wants to give them money, wants to support them, and some of the decisions, it feels like they're first coming up with, you know, we're gonna do this mechanic on how to make money, and this is how, you know, it's tilted in a, you know, the house's favor, to where we're gonna come out well ahead, you know, for this little thing. And then they kind of come out like, let's throw a freaking cat on it, you know, our dog, you know, and like make it Christmassy, you know, some shit. Like, it just feels like weird, you know. It doesn't feel, you know, like somebody designed it, you know, with the right intentions. Which, don't get me wrong, it's a game. I always bring that up. They have to make money, especially, you know, with all the changes and stuff this year that they went through. But hopefully this is not a sign to come, you know, as they keep going down the road, because it's definitely, it could get worse. The where, You know, who knows how many people are going to get the Object 283 permanently, but they could have definitely handled this in a better way. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this. A little bit shorter here at 20 minutes instead of 30, and then even longer my first attempt. So let me know in the comments, you know, your thoughts and everything. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, when it comes down to holiday ops, for anyone still on the fence or hasn't completed things, I do recommend the large boxes are good. You know, they're pretty much the same this year as previous years, where it is the best bang for your buck to buy them if you plan on playing quite a bit in 2023. You know, if you plan on playing throughout the year, get some. You'll get premium time, you'll get gold, you'll get some other stuff thrown in there like tanks and stuff, where you know, if you aren't really playing much, maybe just buy a little bit. You know, it's something to where, you know, the box, like the main meat of the content that people focus on, that's still good. It's some of the little things, and specifically the 283 is the most concerning thing in the event. That, you know, it's kind of diminishing a little bit, you know, when it comes to holiday ops for this year. But in any event, thank you very much for watching, and have a very happy holidays and a happy new year if I don't see you again. And I'll see you guys next time in another video. Have a good one.